well, I am 34, I am single, I am childless, and I just moved flat all by myself.
Do you remember how I said that after I moved on my own the last time and it being a total nightmare, that this time I wasn't going to do it by myself and that I was going to find myself a man with a van? It's okay to do that. You're still a feminist just because you need help from a man. So I did. I booked a man with a van. And guess fucking what? He didn't turn up.
I don't know who the fuck needs to hear this, bitch, but ruining your fucking life. Oh my god! Ah! I swear to fucking God, bitch. I fucking hate myself for doing this to myself. Like, I fucking know better. I know better, bro. I have so much going for myself. I have too much going on in my life to sit here and be fucking delusional and go psychotic over a fucking little ass boy. But fuck. I fucking hate when people try and make me feel like I'm fucking crazy for reacting to their fucking disrespect. How the fuck am I fucking psycho? Because, I'm not fucking psycho, bitch. Any fucking woman in their right fucking mind would have reacted the same way. But I'm just supposed to sit back and be okay with shit. And welcome you in open fucking arms, bitch. No! I swear to God. I hate it here. I hate my fucking life. I hate narcissists. I hate fucking, ties to people. It ruins your life. This sucks the fucking life out of me. It sucks every fucking ounce of life I have in me.
Welcome to the wall, brothers. I must assume that the ex-boyfriend of this woman was what they call golden tip, because this woman has definitely screamed for this man. She has more than 5 videos crying over this man, trying to get his attention. And I wonder, aren't there any other men? Isn't there someone who can do a better job than golden tip? Because this woman screams for Chad with so much emotion. Is this what Chad does? He mentally damages her for the beta provider. Can't you see how she says he ruins her life? She hates narcissistic men, but I bet those are the ones she always seeks. Brothers, we all know that taking responsibility for her actions is kryptonite for women. She'll blame everyone but herself for letting a man into her life. I'm sure there were many simps after her, but she leaves them to chase Chad. This is the price she must pay for this man. And I must say, seeing how this man left her, God help the next poor soul who enters a relationship with her, because they'll be made to pay for all of Chad's wrongdoings.
I don't think this is a hot take or anything, but if you get into a relationship and your life just gets chaotic, it's probably a big red flag that this relationship is not right for you. On the flip side of that, if you get in a relationship and your life starts to improve, if you get better and your partner is getting better alongside of you, probably a good green flag that this relationship is good for you. When I first met my long-term partner, I knew he was the one because our first date was him taking me to Costco and buying me a month's worth of healthy groceries. Now, the boyfriend that I met before him, within our first week of dating, we got into a car accident and he totaled his car. A couple weeks later, he went to prison for 2 months, and that was my big red flag to never speak to him again. But you have to pay attention to these things and respect yourself enough to know that you are worth only green flags.
See, this is why I tell you it's their decisions. This woman saw that the guy who ended up in jail was a Chad. She chose a good partner, looked for the green flags, didn't fall for the bad boy's charm. Brothers, women know when a man is right for them or not. It's just that many of them enjoy the bad life. It's like this. There are women who leave stable relationships to chase after Chad, or a guy who put her through a lot of trouble. This is very common among single mothers. A man comes in, gets involved with a woman who is Chad's child, starts raising the child with her when they're 1 to 3 years old. Then the woman leaves him to go back to the child's father. The man is left looking foolish for taking care of another man's mistake. Brothers, don't feel sorry for those women who are always complaining about men because it was always their choice. No matter how much you cherish her, that man only has to send her a message, and she'll forget everything and go back to him. Stop trying to save women.
biggest red flags that I see in men in particular is when they say that their job is to provide for and protect women. That is what they bring to the table, protection and money, essentially. And the protection one is the big one, because the protection is conditional oftentimes. These same men will leave comments like this that say if women were to dare walk away from men, they will become sheep to wolves, which essentially means their protectors are now their predators. They are the same people who were protecting them conditionally as long as the woman was giving them what they wanted, providing for them in a certain way, being in service of them. It's a huge red flag to me if a guy says, I just want to protect you. The question is always for me, protect them from what? What are you protecting them from? Yourself? Other men that are like you? Who do they need protection from? Because they only become sheep to men. Men are the ones who are trying to harm women. So if we are to walk away from you, you are essentially saying, my love was conditional, everything I provided to you was conditional, and now you no longer have that, and now you are in harm's way, not just from other men, but from me as well. Isn't that scary? That's a huge red flag to me. So if you're wondering when you're dating someone, what are the red flags to look out for? The big one for me is a guy who says he just wants to protect you, that he wants to be your protector. He wants to be the person to keep you from harm. Because what they are actually saying is, I will keep you from harm unless you decide to walk away from me, and then I will bring harm to you.
Brothers, it's bad either way. If you're not a provider, you're stingy. If you're not faithful, you're a womanizer. If you don't give her attention, you don't love her. It's like a game where no matter what you do, you're always the bad guy. Brothers, never try to make a woman fall in love by offering something, because that reeks of desperation, and a man who shows too much hunger never gets anything. This is what the beta provider does. He constantly sells the idea of comfort to women. Women hate this aspect of a man who doesn't like it. If you try to make a woman fall in love by qualifying yourself to her, you'll fail, because women don't like it when a man tries to accommodate everything in life for them, and it doesn't generate any genuine attraction. That's why you see these men being deceived or quickly asked for divorce. These men feel offended, wanting to make the woman's life impossible. But in reality, the culprit was you for trying to buy that woman with your assets. Once she got everything from you, she no longer saw any value in you and discarded you because you didn't generate any genuine interest. Remember, brothers, trying to make a woman fall in love by selling comfort is a recipe for failure, because they'll see you as a fool and needy. But before we continue, brothers, we want you to support us in our goal for the next few months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our family to keep growing. So please help us by subscribing and liking the video, since this helps YouTube recommend our content more. Don't forget to leave your comments. So please stay tuned, because this is where the video gets exciting.
Let's talk about this. Eastern and Western relationship culture and dating etiquette, because I am so tired of the passport bros saying that they want Eastern women, yet they have no idea what that means. I spent my younger years growing up 60% in the States and around 40% in Taiwan, sometimes in Hong Kong, so I've made a lot of international friends. And my family is pretty progressive but traditional at its roots. The biggest differences I see in relationships, and there are two big ones, is that one, Western dating often revolves around a 50-50 dynamic, while many men in Asian countries adopt a provider mindset. And two, women and daughters are absolutely spoiled, adored, and taken care of. It's very common, if not the standard. What's interesting is that even in older generations, families really empower their female heads. So while the husband or the son is like the head of the household and he's the breadwinner and he's the main decision maker, he will still consult his wife on major matters. And the wife often manages all of the finances, the investments, and the inner workings of the household. So growing up, it was very normal for me to see strong, capable, smart women in action, living what most people on the outside would view as a soft life, but in reality, they were doing a lot behind the scenes. There's a Chinese saying that says housewives drive the stock market because they discuss investment strategies during tea sessions, when they're going to brunch, when they're playing mahjong at home. In public, they appear as model wives, they enhance their husband's image, they build their social network to help advance his career, but in private, she holds significant authority and takes charge of household affairs. This relationship dynamic is one of the healthiest I've seen, where men truly love, adore, care, and respect their wives and strive to give them the best, while the wives do everything in their power to make their life better. But hell hath no fury like an angry Asian woman. She is far from being docile. I absolutely have no hate towards passport wifeys who want a better life for themselves. Like, girl, go get that bag. But this is just for the passport bros to know that cultural norms persist.
You're not seeking foreign women because you can't tolerate westernized women. You're pursuing them because westernized women don't want you. You want to be treated like a king, like the prize, by giving bare minimum effort, which you won't find in a woman who has standards. The women you meet abroad who are so accommodating, so nurturing, who goes above and beyond for you, do so with specific goals in mind. Asian women are very resilient and patient. They can smile at you sweetly and take care of you while still cursing at you in their mother tongue, wishing for your early departure from this world. So believe what brings you happiness and continue on your chosen path.
This woman has some valid points. Firstly, everything she said about what attracts a Pacific woman to a relationship, to me, is a gain because having a woman share part of the household burden, whether it's just keeping your home running smoothly while you focus on work and bringing home the money, is not a bad thing at all. Every man wants a team, not to try to control everything or bear the weight of every decision, which can exhaust anyone. So to me, it's perfect. Now, what happens because some of these relationships don't work for some men is that many of these women, the men have this idea that they bought a slave. They want to be in charge, but they don't want to give anything. In the end, that wears out any woman from any part of the world because if you're not a man of value here, you won't be anywhere else. Now, most of the brothers have ended up with women who are more connected to their feminine side, and it's gone very well for them because these are women who take care of their man. But as a man, you should take care of your woman. She's not your servant or your slave, she's your woman. Form a team with her. So I would recommend going for a woman like this, absolutely. But be aware that if you want to be in a relationship like this, you must be a man who provides for and takes care of his woman. That's the guarantee of a successful relationship.
If this is on your For You page, you lucked out. Because right now, I'm going to teach you how you can get anything you want today. So just give me a couple minutes of your time, I'll explain, and then get ready to have the best day ever. The easiest way to manifest anything you want completely passively with no struggle, no extra instruction, no method, is to work on your self-concept. No matter what you're trying to manifest, love, money, someone coming back, a new career, you need to think of yourself as the prize because that is going to make you magnetic. Your self-concept is how you feel in relation to what you want. So you want to be affirming to yourself constantly, you are magnetic, everyone loves you, you are the best person for this job, you bring everything to the table. Everyone wants you. Money wants you. You have a great relationship with money. Every romantic situation you enter in is beneficial for you and you get everything you want. And you need to become that person that genuinely believes that. And when you believe that, that is when you begin to passively manifest everything you want without hardly needing to do any work at all. You think something and boom, it appears. Because you genuinely believe you are the luckiest person on the planet. Without trying, you manifest everything you want. Because you believe you are the person who has it. So begin all day, every day, thinking to yourself that you are the person who gets everything that you want. That manifesting is easy and simple for you. That you barely have to put in any effort and you get whatever you want. And when you begin thinking this and choosing better for yourself, that is when the manifestations flow in. So to recap, anytime you think negatively, replace it with a better thought. Replace it with, I always get what I want. I'm so lucky. Money flows easily to me. Everyone wants me. Don't let those negative thoughts creep in, and if they do, just self-soothe and replace them with these affirmations. That is how you passively get everything you want, and you can start getting what you want today. Follow for more.
After 2 or 3 more videos to continue promoting, subscribe to my courses or buy my book, please. These life coaches are filling the internet with their garbage. I believe in the idea of having a positive mindset, but expecting things to come to you just by asking for them? I don't think that's realistic. I really like this saying. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity that never arrives than to have an opportunity arrive and not be prepared. Many women want that great man, but are any of them preparing for when the man they want comes along? Do they know how to communicate with their man, show affection, or at least prepare a good meal? Many can't do anything around the house. That's why you see many modern women complaining that the man didn't stay. How can he stay with someone who's more of a burden than a life partner? They live believing in manifesting and only focus on makeup and expensive clothes to highlight their physical attributes, forgetting everything else, like taking care of their man when they finally get him. As I said, they don't prepare for when the opportunity comes. That's why they see the man leave with someone else who knows how to take care of him.
Do anybody want to get in a relationship with me and go half on the rent and take trips? We can take turns cheating. I don't care no more at this point.
The dumbest thing a man can do is date a single mom, and I'm saying this as a single mom myself. The only exception to the rule is if the man has kids himself and he's a single dad. That's the only rule that is the exception. And I say this because, one, it's fucking stupid as a man to take on somebody else's kids when you don't have kids of your own. Now, do I think it makes women less valuable? No, I think that's a stupid rhetoric. But the idea that you're going to get emotionally attached to someone else's kids, and then if you break up, never fucking see them again, y'all are stupid. But not only that, it's like, as a single mom, I don't want to date somebody that doesn't have kids because he's not going to be in tune to automatically or naturally or organically be the dad. But also, if I didn't have my daughter, I wouldn't be out here trying to date a man with kids. Like, I get the logic behind it because I'm not going to be emotionally invested in somebody else's kids. Now, in my opinion, if he has kids and I have kids, then we're both equally risking the same thing if it doesn't work out, if that makes sense. Like, me as a single mom, I would never date someone with no kids. Like, so I don't know why women get so offended when men are like, oh, I don't date single moms. Like, I totally get it as a single mom myself. There's too much risk and not enough reward. Okay, bye.
Welcome to the wall, brothers. This woman has her feet firmly on the ground. Dating single mothers is a bad deal. You have a lot to lose and few rewards to gain, and she knows it. Some single mothers might take offense to this, but not every man is willing to raise someone else's children. Single mothers should seek out single fathers, but many don't want to deal with the man's children. However, the reality is that most single fathers never have their child living with them. The single mother always comes with the baggage of the chad's sin, and as a man, you must please the chad's child no matter what to access this mother. I know many men, usually the beta providers, see single mothers as women who look good and want to spend a night or two with them. After seeking just a night of passion, they get caught up in the situation and end up staying with them. That's how most have fallen. There are also simps who can't find a woman and deceive these women in the hopes of having another child with them, even if they have to support the chad's child in the process. Let's not deceive ourselves. If it weren't for the chance to have a child, they wouldn't get involved with these women because not every man has love for someone else's children.
People like this make me laugh because I'm like, if you don't want to date me, or if you don't want to date a woman that has children, that is fine. And that's a personal preference. I'm not offended if somebody doesn't want to date me because I have a child. That just means they're not for me. You can't make me feel insecure because I'm single and have a child. And my hashtags are dating as a single mother. So if a man misses that, or misses my daughter plastered all over my page, he's not even smart enough to get a date with me. So I guess everyone's okay in this situation, except you.
Brothers, if dating is tough for women without children, it's even worse for single mothers. This has been a trend in recent years. The divorce rate initiated by women is at 80%, especially among professionals. Most women coming out of a divorce have a child. In other cases, many women go on adventures with Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table but his seed. Like any Chad, he leaves her with his seed. They want this man's genes. They want to keep him. However, like any Chad, he moves on to the next victim because, as we know, Chad never stops working. Now the woman has to find someone to raise and protect this child, teach them values. Who better to do the job than the white knight, the beta provider? The man she would reject when she didn't have children, but now desires for his resources. It's funny because I've seen men get involved with women who rejected them in their prime to chase after Chad. When they become single mothers, they give the simps a chance. You see them caring for this child as if it were their own, just to qualify with the mother, hoping to have a child together eventually. The funny thing about all this is that many mothers leave Chad or the real father before the child is 5 years old, get involved with simps, then the father comes back, wanting to regain his family. You know what happens, brothers? They leave the simp to go back to Chad because the child needs to grow up with their real father. And there they are, left with double the pain, without the woman and without borrowed children.
first time I started having really strong feelings for someone after my divorce. And the stronger the feelings became, the more I fought them. I just thought, I'm gonna air all my trash to this person. I'm gonna make sure he knows all my flaws and imperfections and all my drama, and he's gonna run as fast as he can. Because after divorce, we all end up a little cynical. The more honest and blunt and everything I was about my life, he just kept sticking around like a crazy person. So after a while, when I was really secure in my feelings for him, I decided to introduce him to my children. And we didn't show any affection in front of the kids. We didn't even hold hands. So to them, the guy I was dating, Philip, was just another friend of mine. In a few weeks after he met them, I was woken up in the middle of the night with my 3-year-old just screaming and projectile vomiting. Now, I'm also sick at this point, okay? So she's puking. It wakes up the 5-year-old, he starts screaming, I'm sick, I'm half asleep. It's like chaotic. It's one of those single mom moments where I actually thought I was going to go insane. So I'm trying to clean her up and I'm basically grabbing the vomit off the floor and I'm trying to calm the 5-year-old and my head is pounding. And I think, why would any sane man sign up for this? So I pick up the phone and I call Philip, woke him up, and I said, you say you want this? You say you want my life and everything that comes with it? Then come on over. Come over right now. He was at my apartment within 20 minutes. The kids are still screaming. I'm on the floor, just scrubbing the carpet. And so I expected a look of shock or disgust, maybe even anger that I'd woken him up in the middle of the night. But instead, without missing a beat, he walked over to me. He grabbed the rag out of my hand and he sent me to bed. And then he proceeded to clean that carpet, clean my daughter's vomit, to clean my daughter and tuck my kids into bed. And then...
Oh my God, the beta provider, my hero. What sane man would get into that? A man with no options, a simp who had to play the role of a father. If you notice how she tells the story, it's like she's talking about some kind of war hero or a man who achieved something significant. Women glorify men who take care of other people's children, especially with the famous phrase, a father is the one who raises, not the one who begets. I don't know who came up with it, but it seems like a marketing slogan for single mothers. A father is the one who begets. No matter how much you raise someone else's child, they never reach the level of a real father. We see this especially at weddings or celebrations, where the father's seat is almost always occupied by the real father. Many simp men get into this to have another child. Let's see how the story of Mr. Simp, the hero, unfolds. But before we continue, brothers, we want you to support us in our goal for the next few months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our family to keep growing. So please help us by subscribing and liking the video since this helps YouTube recommend our content more. Don't forget to leave your comments. So please stay tuned because this is where the video gets exciting.
He tucked me into bed, and I'll never forget, he kissed me on the forehead and he said, yes, I want this. All of it. All 3 of you. And years later now, Philip and I are married, 1 more kid added, and he is still so quick to clean up the vomit, to deal with the chaos, and loves my older 2 children as if they were his own. Here's why I wanted to share that with you. If you are a single parent, I need you to know that you don't have to settle. We all want something wonderful in our life, but so often we don't actually believe that we deserve something wonderful. We have these broken relationships behind us, so we feel like we've already failed at this love thing. We're exhausted and we're insecure and we're completely stressed out with life. And then somebody comes along and gives us some much needed attention and we lose all common sense. We go completely stupid because, oh my goodness, somebody loves me. Somebody loves me. Even though I'm divorced, they love me. Even though I have financial struggles, even though I have stretch marks and cellulite and chin hairs, even though I have children, as if our children are some kind of baggage that somebody has to put up with, even though Now, if you're using even though multiple times to try to justify why you're dating someone, then you're probably letting your insecurities call the shots. And your insecurities are not qualified for that job. They should never be calling the shots. See, we get so smitten by the fact that someone would love this piece of crap that we think we are, that we completely ignore any red flags. So listen, if you're a single parent, I know how hard that can be. I know how lonely that can be. I know that sometimes the load we're carrying seems too heavy for just one person. And I know that the idea of having somebody there by your side to help you through each exhausting day seems like the best thing ever, but it won't be the best thing ever if you settle. See, once we have kids, we lose the right to settle. So I'm telling you right now, there are still wonderful people out there who will genuinely love you and who will love your children as their own.
So, out there, woman is your beta provider. The ironic thing about this is that she sought a man without children because it wasn't a single father she went for. Many want a man to take on someone else's burden, but she doesn't want to take on another woman's burden. Brothers, let's not fool ourselves. If she had been childless and single, I bet that man wouldn't have been chosen because they would go for the man they truly love, not the one they settle for. I bet they'd repeat the story all over again. They'll tell you, of course, that they do it because they love their children, but the reality is they want the genes of the first man, plain and simple. I don't blame any childless man with few options who wants to have a child by any means. We all want an heir. But getting involved with a woman with 2 children, financial problems, and an ex-husband who will always be in your life is not something I'd want to do. Don't be fooled by what a woman might say, that you're not man enough or don't have what it takes. You simply don't have to bear the sins of another man, especially the bad decisions of a woman, when there are childless women out there who can form a family.
We have to stop telling mothers that it takes a village when they don't have a village, because all you're really doing is reminding them that they're stuck doing it all alone when they're not meant to do it all alone. Think about it. It takes 2 people to make a baby for a reason, and yet most moms are raising children as a single mother, even if they have a husband still present in the house. Some of us realize that our family is toxic as we get older, especially once we give ourselves permission to see the reality of what we actually went through. And that means no one's coming to help us, and it's nothing like what we imagined it would be. And people may have siblings that they love, but those siblings can live in different states, and no one can afford to just jump on a plane every time you have a meltdown. So yes, we wish that someone would just come soothe the baby, but times have changed. Maybe grandma still has to work full time, or maybe she's just too selfish to devote a few hours each week. And it's so hard to make friends as an adult. Even if we do find someone that we connect with, we don't even have time for self-care, so how are we supposed to spend time proving that we care about them? We watch movies where women make friendships and develop a sense of sisterhood when it comes to raising kids. But the truth is that most of us will never know that to be anything more than fiction. So we rely on childcare from strangers we have to pay instead of friends and family that we trust. And most of us can't afford that childcare. So it just becomes something else we have to stress and lose sleep over. No one's going to walk in your house and tell you to take a nap while they watch the baby. And they're not going to clean your countertops while you sleep. There's no sense of community in most areas. You can't even trust your neighbor to watch your kid and her kid ride bikes on a shared street. There's no elderly woman sitting on an old porch and waiting to tell you the best home remedy for a teething baby. And it just doesn't feel the same when you look it up on your phone by yourself. There's no welcome wagon, and no one's going to make you meals on the week you deliver your baby. People who say, "Call me if you need me," don't mean it. And we're too afraid to burden the people that actually do. So stop telling us about a village, because a village isn't coming. We're doing it on our own, and it's hard. So let's start talking about what's actually happening and celebrating the mothers who are doing it.
I agree with this woman on some things. The community or society has changed. Perhaps nobody will lend you a hand anymore, let alone offer you a plate of food. Everyone is focused on their own affairs. But my question is, if you know all the disadvantages, why do you ask for a divorce? She knows everything that comes with separation, but many empowered women or feminists are deceived into believing that being strong and independent is the way to go, instead of caring for and protecting their home. Because with your husband, much of what you're saying would be resolved. You're married, go to sleep. I'll take care of the children. I'd handle some household chores, even cooking. but they prefer to leave their home for an emotion, throwing everything away, putting themselves in difficult situations, and worse yet, affecting the children. We've seen how being raised by single mothers affects children. They're more unstable, perform worse in school, and tend to fall into bad habits. In poorer communities, the children of single mothers are the ones most likely to end up in jail. But they only think about their selfish feelings, that they have to be happy, as if you have to be happy all the time. Many want to find another man, like a beta provider, but nowadays many men, if not the majority, don't want to take on someone else's baggage. Many drive the children away from their real fathers, making it so they can't even see them. So who's the bad guy here? Who's hurting their family? Brothers, taking responsibility is kryptonite for women. So don't come to me blaming others for your bad decisions. Remember, you could have stayed married instead of seeking celebration for being a single mother.
You know what I want for you? I want you to feel so secure in your relationship and your man, and I want you to feel so loved. And I want you to know that he is the person you're going to spend your life with. Do you feel that way about this dude?
I've been with my boyfriend going on 8 years since school. We've had 2 homes. He's a pro footballer. I've had my own business for 4 years. We have dogs, an apartment in London. He won't marry me. It's my dream, like a deal breaked the same as wanting kids. Oh, it's like a deal breaker. So if you're not going to marry me, then this is it. Yeah, like I want a marriage. If you don't want to either, I wouldn't have started my life with you, I'm thinking. I've set myself a promise that if by July 1st he's not proposed, I'm leaving. I'm finding someone who will and going to Ibiza with the girls. His season will have started by then, so he won't be able to propose abroad. And that's my dream. And that means waiting another year if he's not done it by July 1st. Some people get engaged after 8 fucking months. So why am I waiting 8 years?
Welcome to the wall, brothers. Here, I want you to notice 2 things. This is a woman in a successful relationship. She has a well-positioned man, and she's doing well herself. But like all women, she desires the ring. Of course, this man doesn't want to. He probably knows what happens to most professional footballers who get married. They see all their hard work vanish in a divorce. Why isn't the status of a free union enough for this successful woman with a man who has her well? Why does she want that contract with the state so badly? She says she'll go to Ibiza with the girls, and you know what happens on those girls' trips. It'll be even worse when you hear that she said, "I'm looking for someone who will do it." You know they're all going for it. Now, the question here would be, why doesn't she leave him and find another man who will offer commitment? It's simple. It's because her current boyfriend has money. She's been waiting for that commitment from him for 8 years. Why doesn't she look elsewhere? Maybe another man would give it to her in 8 months, but he's not a footballer with 2 houses, expensive cars, a high-end social life, presence, good physical condition. In short, this man brings a lot to the table. This woman knows that the moment she leaves him, he'll replace her as if nothing happened. She doesn't want to leave empty-handed from this man. Brothers, it's a matter of numbers, not love.
If you're in the era of your life where everyone's getting married, everyone's having kids, you kind of feel like, should I be doing that? Should I be married by now? Should I have a boyfriend? Like, what is going on? You kind of start to feel this peer pressure to like speed things up or like, you know, get a ring on your finger, find the one that's going to change your life and then have the kids do like everything. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't. And I'm sure you've probably heard this before, but just think about it like this. You don't have to take that path in life. You don't have to take the path where you get married, you get a house in the suburbs, you have the kids, and, you know, you do what everyone else is doing. If you want that, that's totally fine. And, like, you can also do that as well. I really want to normalize the idea that in our 20s, we should just be chasing our dreams, chasing our passions, our interests, and not worrying so much about, like, finding the right relationship, because in our 20s, I think that the most important relationship is our relationship with ourselves. And I'm in my 20s, so like, I mean, I don't know, when I'm in my 30s, we'll see what happens. But I think that's so critical. Honestly, like my family, I have 2 brothers. They're both married or engaged. One of them already has a kid, probably another one on the way. Like they are living their life. They're doing the family thing. And their idea of like the perfect weekend is playing with the kids in the backyard in the sunshine with like the sprinklers going off and having like, you know, barbecues in the backyard and stuff. My idea of the perfect weekend is going to a nice restaurant on the river, eating miso sea bass and watching the sunset. I don't want to hear screaming children all around me. Like, I want to enjoy the natural beauties of the world. I want to travel the world. Like, I'm literally going to be backpacking Europe, which I'm so scared about, but I'm so excited. And there's so many things that I want to see and experience that I can't really pinpoint exactly what I want right now. I don't want a relationship right now because I want the relationship with myself to be so strong and solid that I have the energy to give to someone else. Because right now, like, my energy is so, like, it's going inward so much, if that makes sense, and I'm so focused on making my dreams come true, and these dreams are to travel the world, these dreams are to make a big difference, to grow my YouTube channel, and to just do what I absolutely love to do. I don't want to, like, the thing that scares me the most is looking back a couple years from now and being like, or like on my deathbed and being like, I wish I did that thing. I wish I did that thing and didn't care what people thought about me, or I wish I did that thing and wasn't afraid, you know? So even if people around you are getting married, getting the ring on the finger, like having kids, don't worry about that. Just focus on you. Everyone's at a different point in their life, just like healing, okay? Nothing is the same. You do you and that's it. Love yourself.
The speech of every feminist woman who fails to get a ring, worse yet, can't even manage to have a stable relationship. These are the ones who show you one face, but behind closed doors, they collapse into tears over their loneliness. Brothers and women, pay more attention to their actions than to what they say. Just look at how she describes the life of a married person, how she defines the stages, how she talks about her siblings' marriages. That woman wants to get married like crazy. That's why she's doing things to distract her mind. Like those famous trips every single woman takes. She's just looking for ways to distract herself because if they stay at home, they fall into depression over their situation. It's no wonder that women are the biggest consumers of antidepressants, the ones who go to therapy the most. In their 20s, they're at their best, but as they enter their 30s, they realize that the wall is coming for them. We all know that the wall doesn't forgive, so you can tell yourself it doesn't matter, but we all know that your biological clock is telling you to get married because time is ticking. If you sleep, the wall will come for you because the wall doesn't forgive.
How long does it take for a man to know whether he wants to marry you? Well, ladies, it only takes 172 days. It only takes a man 6 months to know whether you are marriage material. I know what you're thinking. You've been together with your man for years, you're living together, and you're like, why hasn't he proposed to me? Ladies, I'm going to tell you something that might make you glad that he hasn't proposed to you yet. The honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase lasts anywhere from 3 months to 30 months. That's 2.5 years. After 2.5 years, all your partner's flaws are going to start to come up. You're going to see how annoying they are when that thing that they do isn't so cute anymore. You're going to have a lot more ups and downs, and arguments are going to become far more frequent. Also, the passion starts to die, which you're going to have to take matters into your own hands and spice things up if you want to keep your relationship alive. All in all, if you're in a relationship and you've been together for over 6 months and you're wondering, when is this man going to propose to me? Be thankful. You have up to 2.5 years to decide whether you want to marry them.
172 days to realize that this is a bad idea. It saves you a lot of time with this. Don't do it. It's a terrible idea. The problem with the modern woman is that what they offer for a marriage is little, which doesn't motivate a man to want to give them the ring, because why would you give a ring that could financially ruin me over the years just for your presence? Because this is what most of them offer. When you ask a woman what she brings to the table, what she does for me, what she contributes to the relationship, when you evaluate her based on her treatment, you realize that if she wasn't a good girlfriend, she'll be even less of a great wife. That's why it's always good to be with a woman in a free union or live together for a while, because brothers, in that cohabitation, you'll realize what you're getting into. If living together doesn't treat you with respect, doesn't take care of you, doesn't take care of your home, when she gets married, it won't be any different. That's why some men see that women completely change when they get married. They show their true colors, and then you realize you made a mistake, but it's already too late. This woman can now get half of your money, your house, every asset you have, and what did you get? Her presence. The same thing she gave you in a free union, nothing more. Brothers, getting married nowadays is overrated. It's simply a bad deal. But before we continue, brothers, We want you to support us in our goal for the next few months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our family to keep growing. So please help us by subscribing and liking the video since this helps YouTube recommend our content more. Don't forget to leave your comments. So please stay tuned because this is where the video gets exciting.
If he's telling you that he's not sure he wants to get married, he wants to see how it goes, he wants to move in with you, you know, it's better if we don't get married because we'll both keep trying harder. It's not the type of person you want to be with. And I'll tell you why. It's very simple. You don't want to be with a fair weather friend. You want to be with someone who commits and goes for it because life is going to give you ups and downs and turns and twists, let me tell you. You cannot be with a partner on the preface that it's always going to be rosy and gay and happy. You cannot do that. The whole idea of commitment and marriage works because you are there through thick and thin. And if you are with him and he's with you, as long as you're the best, brightest version of yourself, and he's always on the lookout for a better version, because essentially that's what he's saying. You're good enough for now. But if something better comes along, I'm going to hop ship like the rat that I am, then that's not the person for you. Don't convince these people to try and marry you. Don't try and talk them around. Just know that they're not the type of person you want to go through life with. You don't want a half-ass person. You want someone who uses their whole ass.
And that's why she's still single. See, as I told you, they don't like free union because it leaves them exposed. They know that if they get involved with you, you'll see what she brings to the table. That's where you realize how she takes care of you, how she cooks, how she takes care of the home, whether she's a woman whose money never seems to be enough, if she's a spender, if she's addicted to shopping, what her bad habits are, if she's the type of woman who's always picking fights, or if she'll bring chaos to your life and home. That's why they don't like free union before getting married, because they know they have to put in double the effort to convince you to sign that contract with the devil. Brothers, if a woman isn't willing to live with you first, she only wants to get married no matter what to share life with you. Just tell her you want a prenup or leave this woman because I assure you she wants everything but you. Remember, a man gets married for love, a woman for a lifestyle. If you're going to make a bad deal, at least know how its internal functions are. If living with you makes that woman a disaster, being married will be the same, but even worse because she has legal rights to your assets.
Men marry the woman in front of them at the time they are ready to get.
I just hate this theory. Like, I just don't think it's true at all. And I also just think it, like, devalues women. Like, not to be that girl, but, like, I do. It's essentially saying to women that you yourself, just, like, from being you weren't enough to convince, entice, whatever word you want to use, this man to get married. He's only getting married to you because he's ready to get married and you're in front of him right now. What? And also not to be that girl of like, I'm the exception. But like me and my fiance started dating when we were 17, dated a year till we were like 18, broke up for 1 year after that, and then since then have dated ever since and we're getting married in April. That's 9 years of us being together from 17 to 26. So no, this man is not just marrying me because I was the woman in front of him when he finally decided he was ready to get married. I was the woman next to him when he was a dumb little shit at 17. I was the woman in front of him when he was an even dumber little shit and thought it was a good idea to break up with me. That is a joke. I have no real animosity over that. That was so long ago now. I was the woman in front of him when we decided to get back together and work on our relationship. I was the woman in front of him when he decided to go to law school. I was the woman in front of him when he graduated and had to go through, post-grad life, getting a job, transitioning into all those things. And I was the woman in front of him when we finally decided it was time for us to get married. It's a decision you make as a couple. Like saying like it's like all in the hands of when the man wants to get married devalues the woman, devalues the couple. I just think it's kind of stupid and immature point of view, to be honest. My fiance is marrying me because he loves me, appreciates who I am and what I bring to the table, and because he values the partnership that we have, not just because I was standing in front of him when he was ready to get married.
Absolutely, this woman has her feet on the ground and understands that a relationship takes two. If you say that a man only chooses the woman in front of him, then you're saying you're not woman enough to keep this man. The thing is, women have this idea that we men are like sex machines who don't pay attention to their attitudes. But what they don't know is that we silently discard. Men know when a woman is more focused on the status of being married than on being a wife. Many women only seek an expensive ring and a grand wedding. They don't really care who they marry as long as they can provide the wedding of their dreams. That's why you see divorces happening before the first year or marriages not lasting even 3 years. Sometimes, a man sees a woman's attitudes, especially when they've been in a long-term relationship. He sees how she treats him, how she expresses herself, how she handles finances. As I said, we observe silently. When we reach a point, we say to ourselves, this woman isn't wife material. She's more concerned about my assets than taking care of me. And that's when we leave and find someone who loves us for who we are, not for what we bring to a marriage. Brothers, be careful not to give the ring to the wrong woman because it's a decision that comes with a very, very high price.
Apparently there's a male loneliness epidemic right now.
But not all men. So...
Welcome, brothers. Today, I want to talk to you about the privileges of the young and beautiful woman when she gets older, as well as why some men marry certain women and not others. But before we continue, brothers, we invite you to subscribe, like the video. We want to reach 50,000 subscribers. So we ask for your small contributions so the family keeps growing. Leave us your comments. Without further ado, let's begin.
Okay, I don't know if I'm getting left bombed, because I was having a bad day today. And then an hour later, guess what's on my doorsteps? Flowers! That is so cute! And not just that, this man actually noticed that I was running out of shampoo and conditioner. So he actually went to Sephora and bought me my hair care restock. That is so good! That is so fucking thoughtful though. This man, oh my god, he compliments me every single day. Plans the most amazing dates. And takes me out to bougie dinner at least once a week. See, I know I deserve princess treatment. But this is going so well, it's so sus. Baby girl, this is just a reminder that there are men out there that want to treat you right. Maybe all this time you were the full package, but you just got delivered to the wrong address. Okay, anyways, I love you always. Bye!
Brothers, I want you to notice two things. When a woman likes a man, she enjoys being pampered by him. But when a woman doesn't genuinely like a man, she'll perceive his gifts as an obligation or won't accept them gladly. This woman makes me laugh with how she talks. She compares a man's interest or love to how much he's willing to give or gift her. More often than not, instead of truly winning her over, what you're doing is buying her affection. That's how the beta provider wins her over, by showering her with gifts. The problem with this is that when he no longer has gifts to give or can't lavish her with as much attention, you know what's going to happen. She'll leave you. Women want to be treated like princesses. The issue is, you're giving in to this man for that treatment. Another thing is that women tend to perceive a man who gives them gifts and takes them to expensive places as a high-value man. This woman is lucky because she has what's called the privilege of being young, beautiful, and fertile. But watch the next video and see how a woman fares after 30, like the following woman.
Here's some pretty privilege in action. So I just stopped at O'Reilly's to get some windshield wiper blades. And the first one went on pretty easy. The second one, I literally stood here for about 10 minutes trying to get this stupid thing on. I put it on wrong the first time, knew it was wrong, but by that point it was stuck and I had to try to figure out how to get the stupid thing off. 10 years ago, when I was 22 years old and more slender than I am today, younger, skinnier, the jock in the car next to me, just sitting there on his phone, would have been falling all over himself to get out of the car and come help me. And the employees at O'Reilly, standing around doing nothing because they're not busy right now, would have said, hey, let me put these on for you. None of that. So when you hear somebody saying, hey, if you're a girl and you want help with something, go to the, just go to the auto parts store or go to Lowe's or Home Depot and stand there and look, confused, and some man will help you. That only works if you have something to offer the man. Most men aren't actually that helpful. They only want to help you if they are attracted to you. So, anyway, I'm all about taking care of things myself, mainly because I don't want to be obligated to a man. Anyway, I just think it's interesting. I haven't been able to go to the auto parts store and get help without specifically asking for help and them begrudgingly doing it in years, unless I just happen to be there when someone who likes curvy women happens to be around. So, yep. But I got windshield wipers put on.
Brothers, the wall does not forgive. The passage of time for a woman is like a bucket of cold water because they see those privileges disappear as they age. They no longer attract attention. Some who were once the center of attention now see that nobody approaches them. In short, their shine fades away. Brothers, she says it clearly. At 22, any man would rush to do me a favor, but now, at 33, people tell me where I need to pay for the same favor. Do you think this woman would receive flowers, fancy dinners, or princess treatment like the younger woman? Of course not. She's no longer young, beautiful, and fertile. It's because of these things that the competition among women is so fierce. Some men say women have it easy. Why do you think pretty women have so many privileges, like free tickets, trips, fancy restaurants, and even finding employment more easily? Why do you think less attractive women invest so much to enhance their beauty even just a little? It's because they want those privileges, the attention of the beautiful woman. The unattractive woman covets it. Brothers, the wall does not forgive.
After a guy pays for the bill, the way you react is going to signify whether you get a second date or not. Be snobby and rude, but also don't be too appreciative. Appreciative means, oh my god, thank you so much, no, that means so much to me, thank you so much, thank you so much. Oh my god, he's gonna think you've never been taken out on a proper date before and no one's ever paid for you before. You will just look low value. Don't do that. Just say, thank you for taking me out, I had a really nice time with you. That's all you need to say. You don't need to do all this extra stuff. If it's been a few days, thank you so much for looking after me. You really make me feel safe. That's all you need to say. Don't make it look like you were literally begging for scraps off men before. Making sure you're not snobby and rude, and make sure you don't act like you expect it. Yes, we expect it. Obviously we expect it, but don't act like it. Don't not say thank you. Always say thank you. Every time a man does something for you, thank them. Every time they compliment you, you don't need to thank them. You can just say, that's really nice. Because they're not doing anything for you, so don't thank them. Thank them when an action has happened.
The problem with today's modern woman is that they have this idea that if they go out with you, it's like they're doing you a favor. That's why many have this attitude of feeling entitled to everything. Like if you're inviting them, it has to be to an expensive place or you have to pay for everything for them. It's like they think, this is your duty for being in my presence. Brothers, I've always believed that the one who invites pays. If you invite a girl, you should pay for the first date because it earns you points to win her over. But I understand in some cases why some men make it an uncomfortable situation, like suggesting splitting the bill. It's because of this attitude of, I'm doing you a favor by being here. Many aren't even courteous. Everything they say implies it's the least you can do for them. That's why men give up on dating. It feels more like you're selling yourself as the best product for someone to buy, or like you're a servant having to please a woman just to keep her interested. That's why you see them hitting the wall later because of this attitude of empowerment with an inflated ego.
Men don't marry the love of their life. They marry the girl that's around when they're ready to settle down. That's the truth. So it doesn't matter how much you remind them of their mother. It doesn't matter how much you cook for them or the fact that you wipe their butthole when they shit themselves in the bed. It doesn't matter what you do for them. They will appreciate it, but they will take it for granted if they're not ready for something. He will never see you in that light. Men have to decide on their own that they're looking for something. And then when they decide that they're finally ready, whoever is standing in front of them, that is going to be the person they will most likely end up with.
This is nonsense, brothers. Women don't understand that men mature over time. When you're between 18 and 25, usually you just want to have fun. Unless you deeply love a woman, you wouldn't marry her. But there are also men who have goals in life. Some want to be just a family man with a 9 to 5 job. Others want to own their own business, and some simply want to have some assets before getting married. They expect to start a family at a certain age, usually before 35. Men can do this because they don't have a biological clock. But by the time a woman reaches around 25, she starts feeling the pressure because she knows her biological clock is ticking. She wants a ring and children quickly, so she thinks about marriage with her first boyfriend. But men, as I said, aren't in a rush. This bothers women, so they change men even though they still love them deeply. Now, I said men mature over time. What you want at 20 isn't what you'll be looking for at 30. At 20, it's just about physical attractiveness, a pretty face. At 30, it's about finding a woman who can give you children, teach them good values. Maybe she's beautiful too, but more importantly, she helps you with your life goals. By 30, you usually know exactly what you want to achieve. That's why the woman you find at that age typically meets these requirements. You know well what you're looking for, and it's not just a pretty face. But women don't want to understand this.
What should you do when your boyfriend doesn't want to get married? You need to pray, girl, because I'm going to tell you what. God will never lead you astray. He will never lead you to a dead end. And if he told you that you were going to have a husband, that you were going to find true love, that he was going to restore your breakups in your past, and he was going to give you double for your trouble in your love life, then guess what? God is going to be faithful to fulfill all of that he said he would. And so you have to pray, girl, because is this really the direction he wants you to go in? Or is this a stumbling block that is causing you to delay in the direction that he wants you to go in? Okay. So before you start getting advice from everybody else, get advice from God. What does that look like? How does that feel like? Is he going to show up in a burning bush? Girl, I don't know. I don't know what God's going to do in your life, but I will tell you what, he's going to start to let you know if this situation is not for you. And he's going to let you know if this situation is. Only you are going to be able to determine that. But you won't be able to determine that until you start to go for God. Until you start to pray seriously about your relationship and about what's happening in your relationship. So if marriage is something that you truly in your heart of hearts want, then you got to ask yourself, sister, are you putting yourself first? Or are you just allowing life to pass you by in a situation that's never going to get you to the destination that you want to ultimately reach? Let's be honest, if the man was really going to be serious about you and your future, then he would be really considering marriage.
Absolutely. If a man is taking his future seriously, he will consider marrying you. The problem is, brothers, women don't listen to men. Women also don't ask the right questions to men and listen to their responses. Because, as I said once, if you're with a man who tells you he doesn't want to get married or doesn't believe in marriage, what the heck are you hearing, woman? Why do you stay if that man was clear with you? It's like I said, I believe in God, but not everyone shares my beliefs. There are men who have a terrible fear of marriage, others who do want to get married, and others who want to get married but with a prenup. As I said, women don't ask the right questions to men, and even when they do, they want to hear what suits them. Because they have this idea that he'll change for me. And, as I said, there are men who have a clear life goal. If getting married isn't a priority or something they want to do in that goal, they won't do it. It also happens that many women don't meet the standards of what a man wants in a wife because they believe they are the only ones entitled to choose. Men do have standards. If you're the woman that man didn't give the ring to, and then you see that he got married to someone else after he left you, simply put, you're not the woman who meets the standards of that man to be his wife. It's cruel, but it's reality. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Brothers, why do you think a man doesn't choose a woman to marry? What do you think about dating modern women today? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.